Namaskar. Today let us learn about migration patterns in India. Migration can be defined as the movement of people from one place to another. It is the displacement of a person who leaves his or her place of birth or of residence for another place. The person involved in migration is called as migrant. There are two main types of migration. First is internal migration, that is migration within one country. Secondly, international migration, which means the movement from one country to another. The migrant often leaves a rural area to live in an urban area for some purpose. International migrations are rare, with only 3% of humans living in a country may leave to another country for jobs and education. People who choose to move are called as voluntary migration. People who are forced to move are called as involuntary migration. Migrations have occurred throughout the past. Migration occurs in a variety of ways. Migration can occur between continents, within a continent, or within a single country. Migration can even occur when people move out of one city and into another city also. The most important thing about migration to remember is that it occurs when groups of people move from the same region. India has one of the world's most diverse and complex migration history. Since the 19th century, ethnic Indians have established communities on every continent as well as on islands in the Caribbean and the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. India has seen a high migration rate in the recent years. Over 98 million people migrated from one place to another in 1990s, the highest for any decade since independence according to 2001 census details. The following aspects of the migration are highlighted in this lesson. First is historical perspectives of migration in India. India has a long history of migration, and though internal migration was less in earlier periods, it is noteworthy to study the pattern and direction of internal migration in India. Due to death of literature, the study could not focus behind 1891 and restricted the period of study till 1931. The sole dependence while writing the paper has been on available census reports from which insights could be drawn about the process of internal migration in India. Assam and Bombay were the main centers of immigration, and United Provinces, Mysore, Bihar and Orissa had been centers of emigration. Though the pattern of internal migration remained quite similar between 1891 and 1921, in 1931 some new centers of immigration came up, for example Delhi and Bikaner. In 1947, upon the partition of India, large populations moved from India to Pakistan and vice versa, depending on their religious beliefs. The partition was promulgated in the Indian Independence Act 1947 as a result of the dissolution of British Indian Empire. The partition displaced up to 12.5 million people in the former British Indian Empire, with estimates of loss of life varying from several hundred thousands to a million. In modern India, estimates based on industry sectors mainly employing migrants suggest that there are around 100 million circular migrants in India. Caste, social networks and historical precedents play a powerful role in shaping patterns of migration. Migration for the poor is mainly circular, as despite moving temporarily to urban areas, they lack the social security which might keep them there more permanently. They are also keen to maintain a foothold in home areas during the agricultural season. The Indian population has been considered as one of the least mobile populations of the world. Migration rates in India are desperately low in comparison to most of the European and North American countries. It has been found that Bengal, Assam and Bombay were the main centers of immigration, and United Provinces, Mysore, Bihar and Orissa had been centers of emigration. A gradual change has started in the pattern of internal migration in India during the recent years. Next is types of migration. There are 10 types of migration identified so far. They are: internal migration is moving to a new home within a state, country or continent. External migration is moving to a new home in a different state, country or continent. Emigration, it means leaving one country to move to another. For example, the pilgrims emigrated from England. Next is immigration. It means moving into a new country. For example, the pilgrims immigrated to America. Return migration, when groups of people move back to where they came from. Seasonal migration, when people move with each season. For example, farm workers following crop harvest or working in cities off season. The process of moving for a period of time in response to labor or climatic conditions. Next is casual migration. It is the minor movement between neighboring villages and gain importance if the villages are situated across the district boundary. Next is temporary migration. It includes migration of coolies to meet the demand for labor on canals, railway, etc., or journeys on business or in connection with pilgrimages, marriage ceremonies and or like. Next is periodic migration. It is seasonal demands of labor generally for the harvest. Next is semi-permanent migration. That means inhabitants earning their living in another place but maintain connection with their own homes and ultimately return there. Next is permanent migration. This type of migration is in the nature of colonization. It usually takes place when, owing to irrigation or improved communication or changed political conditions, new lands become available for occupation. Why do people migrate? People move for so many reasons. Two important factors which influence migration are push factors and pull factors. Push factors are related to people leaving a place because of a problem such as a food shortage, war, flood, etc. Push factors are things that are unfavorable about the area that one lives in. For example, not enough jobs, few opportunities, primitive conditions, desertification, famine or drought, political fear, slavery or forced labor, poor medical care, loss of wealth, natural disasters, death threats, lack of political or religious freedom, pollution, poor housing, tenant issues, discrimination, poor chances of marrying. Next is pull factors. Pull factors are related to people moving to a place because of something good such as nicer climate, better food supply, etc. Pull factors are things that attract one to another area. For example, job opportunities, better living conditions, political or religious freedom, enjoyment, education, better medical care, attractive climates, security, family links, industries and better chances of marrying. Next is migration streams. They are yet another dimensions of migration. Based on the rural and urban nature of the place of birth and place of enumeration, internal migrants can be classified into following four streams. First one is rural to rural migration. Rural to rural migration is the first type. This stream of migration dominates over all other streams in terms of volume of migration. An outstanding feature of rural to rural stream of migration is the preponderance of female migrants. Studies made by Bose in 1965 Agarwal in 1968, Narain in 1975 have shown that this preponderance of female migrants is due to the prevalence of patriarchal residence after marriage. According to Indian tradition, the girl has to move from her parent residence of her in-laws and live with her husband. Apart from marriage migration, there are several other factors which contribute to large-scale rural-to-rural migration. Migration of agricultural labourers and movement of newly reclaimed areas for agricultural purposes constitute the most important component of such migrations. In slack agricultural seasons, a large number of villagers move out to seek casual employment in irrigation projects, construction of roads, railroads, buildings and other miscellaneous menial jobs. Normally, rural to rural migration originates from crowded areas of low productivity and is destined towards sparsely populated areas experiencing large scale development activities. Such a migration may take place even for longer distance and may result in permanent redistribution of population. Next is rural to urban migration is another type. Rural to urban migration is next only to rural migration in terms of volumes of migration. Rural to urban migration is caused by both push of the rural areas as well as pull of the urban areas. In rural areas, appalling poverty, unbearable unemployment, low and uncertain wages, uneconomic land holdings and poor facilities for education and other services work as push factors. By contrast, the pull of urban areas may include job opportunities, better living conditions, regular and higher wages, fixed working hours, etc. Both poor and rich from the countryside migrate to the urban areas under the influence of both push and pull factors. Both males and females migrate from rural to urban areas, but males have always outnumbered females in this stream of migration. The rural to urban migration has substantially affected the aerial population and has contributed a great deal to urban growth in India. It has been estimated that about 1/3 of the total urban growth in India is due to migration. Next is urban to urban migration. It is one more type of migration channel. This is a stream of migration believed to be dominated by the middle class people. Generally, people migrate from small towns with less facility to large cities with more facilities. This is the reason that class 1 cities have grown at a much faster rate as compared to other towns. In fact, small towns are constantly losing to big cities. This migration forms a part of what is known as step migration. Next is urban to rural migration. Is yet another channel of migration. This stream has the lowest volume of migrants, accounting for 5.84% only in 1991. However, there has been slight increase in this stream of migration between 1961 and 1991. Such a movement takes place at the advanced stage of urbanization, when urban centers are characterized by over-congestion, haphazard growth, high cost of living, heavy pressure on public utility services, etc. Let us see the types of internal migration. It is possible to identify 3 types of internal migration. They are intra-district migration, intra-state migration and interstate migration. First is intra-district migration. It is related to the movement inside the district, is called as intra-district migration. Out of total migrant population, 62.14% were born within the district enumeration. Next is intra-state migration. It is related to the movement outside the district but within the state, is known as intra-state migration. Intra-state migrants are larger than interstate migrants because people prefer to migrate within the state. Very high proportion of the intra-state migrants are classed as urban to urban. Nearly 3/4 of the total migrants are females, mainly caused by marriage. Next is interstate migration. It is related to the movement behind the state and union territory, but within the country is termed as interstate migration. Migration between two states is much smaller than the intrastate migration, simply because increase in distance, most of the interstate migration takes place along border between two neighboring states. The next aspect is about reasons for migration. Never before have there been so many people living far away from their native countries. Poor living conditions, violence and armed conflicts, environmental problems, a lack of economic perspectives and the growing gap between rich and poor countries. All these factors play their part. Global mobility and the new media likewise have a great influence on current migration trends. Since man has been on earth, ethnic groups have again and again travelled to other regions in the world hoping to find a better basis for existence there. In recent centuries, wars have repeatedly triggered mass of displacements of refugees. Poor living conditions may always generate the urge to migrate. Many leave their homes because there are not enough fertile pastures and arable land, food, water, work or other fundamental requirements. The consequences of environmental catastrophes such as drought or floods can also force thousands to leave their native countries. The growing gap between rich and poor is the most significant driving force for global migration. The population grows while economic development strategies stagnates. The enormous rate of population growth and the poor perspectives for economic development in some regions give rise to a tremendous migratory pressure. Unstable economic policy, a lack of legal stability and widespread corruption discourage investors and concerns from locating their long-term industrial projects in such areas. Violence and the abuse of power force people to flee from place to place. The term refugee is used to describe people who are persecuted on account of their race, religion, ethnic group or political conviction. Persons whose freedom or lives are threatened in this sense have a right to protection by foreign countries on the basis of internal conventions. Displaced persons are not fleeing from individuals' persecutions, but from escalating violence threatening large parts of the population in a certain region or country. Those affected by such conflicts mostly flee in large numbers to safe regions in their native land or in neighboring country. In order to prevent unrest, hunger, disease and other problems, they are frequently accommodated in refugee camps. The rich industrialized states are becoming more accessible for the migration. Tourism, television and the internet all enhances the attractiveness of migration. They make the poorest aware of the wealth of the rich. The growth of air travel facilities, journeys to faraway industrialized countries. So far, only a fraction of those willing to consider migration have actually been able to travel to their preferred destination on other continents. But this could soon change, since successful emigrants transfer a considerable share of their income to their relatives at home. As a result, more and more people can afford to travel to distant countries. The most important reason for migration in India is the marriage. This accounts for more than half of the migrants towards other countries. This is explained by the social custom of women migrating to the husband's place after marriage. Employment and business requirements account for little more than 1/10 of migrants, while education as a reason of migration accounts for about 2% of all the migration. If a migrant moves on account of joining a business or setting up or running a business, he or she is said to have migrated on account of business. Education is included as a reason of migration in the country's census. Any person who has moved to join a school or college falls under this category. However, census makes a distinction between those who moved voluntarily for education and those who moved along with earning member of the family. In the latter case, family moved to the region assigned to the migrants. The reason was the migration of parent or earning member. Droughts and floods do occur in India in some parts of the country every year. Many people are ousted due to this reason. This has been recognized as one of the reasons of migration. Terrorism is also displacing large number of people from the border areas. In India, thousands of people are getting displaced due to construction of highways, large irrigation projects and industrial establishments. Next, we will study consequences of migration. There are positive and negative consequences of migrations. The positive consequences are many. The remittance sent by migrants to their homes help in the growth of economy of the region. This money is mainly used by the family for purchasing food, repayment of debts, medical treatment, marriages, children's education, purchasing agricultural inputs, construction of houses, etc. Many poor villages of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh depend on this money for their survival. Similarly, remittances from the international Indian migrants are one of the major source of foreign exchange in India. In 2002, India received $11 billion as remittance from these people. States such as Punjab, Kerala and Tamil Nadu receives very large amount of money from their international migrants. Migration of people from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar to the rural areas of Punjab, Haryana has resulted in the success of green revolution and agricultural development in Punjab and Haryana. There are also some negative consequences, that is unregulated migration to the metropolitan cities of India has caused overcrowding. Development of slums in industrially developed states such as Maharashtra, Gujarat and Delhi is the result of unregulated migration. The underdevelopment gets even worse due to outmigration of skilled people. Overcrowding of people due to rural to urban migration has put pressure on the existing social and physical infrastructure in the urban areas. This ultimately leads to unplanned growth of urban settlement and formation of slums, shanty colonies. Due to overexploitation of natural resources, cities are facing the acute problem of depletion of groundwater, air pollution and disposal of sewage and management of solid wastes. Lastly, I conclude about 3/4 of all migrants in the intrastate category are found to be women. This is mainly because of the marriages. Over half of the intrastate migrants moved from rural to rural areas. Such people are migrated in search of employment on farms or other establishments located in the rural areas. There are a huge number of youngsters moving out of the country for education, employment and carrying out trade and tourism. People are becoming more mobile and migration is a part of modern life too.